Oh yeah, today is a fucking fruit day, isn't it? Oh god. Oh glob. There's that. Hello there everyone, right now it's 4 p.m. on December 7th. Really isn't any news today, but here's some personal news. I gotta do a video chat with my parents. Guess that doesn't qualify as new, I'll get back to supporting you and your island. Alright. We got some things from Daisy May that we're gonna go sell immediately. Yep. Gulliver is here today, so we'll deal with him. Praise Beyond a Helix. Alright, let's go look around and get some fossils and whatnot. You know, morning routine stuff. Oh, and let's also take care of this, I guess. I would not be surprised if Octavian's gonna ask to move away or whatever. We're gonna tell him no, obviously, but I'm gonna bet he's gonna ask. Don't go, Octavian. I love you. Of course, it's always the ones you don't want to leave that ask to leave. Because of course. Of fucking course. Oops. Did we pumpkined yesterday, or was the shop closed last night? I don't remember. I don't know, time has become an illusion. I'm so close to being done. I'm so very close, but also so damn far away. Bottle? Nope. So far away from being done. Also gotta find some whatevers. Oh, we're gonna have to worry about the bunny tree right now. Oh god. Oh, well. Let's get this one as well while we're right here. So we are doing our predictions to the Game Awards today. But we're gonna do that after we get all of this stuff done. So I guess we should talk about... I do have several rants planned today, potentially more. I guess let's get the first one out of the way now. Let's talk about fucking Cyberpunk, shall we? So, Cyberpunk 2077 dropped reviews today. And I think it's got like a 90 on OpenCritic, which, again, anything above like a... I know we're lambasted by like the idea that anything below a 9 is considered a failure. No, I'd argue anything... you have to get down to like a 4 for it to actually be like a failure. And even still, I'd contest that. But of course, because the modern games journalism is in the pocket of the media, or is in the pocket of the game industry, they'll rarely give anything below a 7, right? A 7 is like considered the failing grade. Even though, again, what matters at the end of the day more is game is the actual content of the review, but actually tell that to anybody and they'll never have read it before. They look at the number on Metacritic and assume, oh, that's a thing. Right? They'll judge an entire thing based on the number on Metacritic. But yeah, so it's got a 90. It's got like it's in both the 90s on Meta and OpenCritic. So it's got really good reviews all around. But it got, I want to say, is it Games Radar? I don't know. People were yelling about it on Twitter. GameSpot. It was GameSpot. GameSpot gave it a 7 out of 10. And of course, people are freaking the fuck out about that because Cyberpunk is supposed to be like the next Prodigy, right? The second coming sort of thing. So the idea that anybody would give it less than a 9 is fucking blasphemous. For the stupidest fucking reasons, I might add. A tapestry. Gosh dang it. Why do I keep getting... yes, I didn't have that before. Touche, I guess. But, like, even the color of the note, that's like using an ice notary. And still, it's just a peach wall. I don't know, the game has been obsessed with giving me fruit stuff. And I don't know why. But yeah, so of course people freak the fuck out over GameSpot giving Cyberpunk a 7 out of 10, which isn't the first time people have been mad at GameSpot just in the past, like, month. In the past, like, 30 days. Because there was, I guess, in their Spider-Man... Did I put a purple over here? I must have. Because just like a month, like within the past like month when the PS5 came out, they made a comment about like the exaggerated swagger of a black teen, and that like rustled a bunch of people's jimmies and became the next makes you feel like Batman, makes you feel like Spider-Man, which is the stupidest fucking thing, I should add. The quote, right, like, it's all because of Donkey, which I fucking hate Donkey. I used to really like Donkey, right? It's the same thing with Egoraptor. I used to really like Donkey. I used to really like Egoraptor. But the Donkey fans are just annoying as fuck. They're just the absolute worst. Same thing with Egoraptor. Now, admittedly, Egoraptor I still, as a person, like, and I still find Game Grumps really entertaining, right? Like, I still do enjoy Game Grumps, right? I just don't like Egoraptor fans. And while those two Game Grumps and Egoraptor fans overlap, they're different. Donkey, on the other hand, I'm starting to dislike as a person as well. And it's for stupid fucking reasons as well. Like, it's nothing that I mean, it's... I really don't want to get into this, actually. But I don't know, I find Donkey annoying. And, right, and he made fun of it makes you feel like Spider-Man. So then all of his fan bases were like, oh, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. When Spider-Man on PS4 came out, oh, the first line they use is, oh, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. I think his point in complaining about that was that, like, oh, right, they're making fun of, right, he's making fun of, like, how unoriginal game critics are or something. Like, I'm assuming that's what he was intending to do by making fun of the makes you feel like Spider-Man. But there's nothing wrong with the phrase, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. That's a single sentence in a much larger review. And in fact, much like giving a game a score out of 10, it's a quick way to surmise a much larger statement. Right? Saying it makes you feel like Spider-Man in a single sentence tells you everything you need to know about a game. And then the actual rest of the review is supposed to be substantive of that. Like, it's in addition to that. But no, it's just the fucking stupidest thing, and it annoys the hell out of me. Because I don't know. I think it's fine, honestly. I think it makes you feel like Spider-Man's a fine thing. And Donkey fans just won't shut the fuck up about it. Jeez, so many turnips. Hey, Psychoms. But yeah, so that's all to go to say, like, oh, how we review games is complicated. And so Cyberpunk getting a 7 out of 10, and I think another place gave it 3 stars out of, or 3 out of 5. Game Beast gave it a 3 out of 5. Which one did I just erase? I just erased Apologetic. I just don't see it. There it is. But yeah, so I think it's dumb, personally. Right? Like, people obsess way too much over review scores. What really matters is if you play the game, what did you think of the game itself? Right? Like, don't let other people tell you what to think, I guess. And reviews are just to inform you about... The most important part of reviews is to inform you about what the game is like. Not to tell you what to think, which is how some people take it. Or just to, like, divide people. It's all fucking bullshit. And the one takeaway I get from all the reviews I have read, and I haven't read them all, I've looked at a few of them, is that Cyberpunk is a Bethesda game. Meaning it's buggy. It's serious, like, it's comparable to, like, a game launching in, like, early access, or in, like, an alpha or a beta state. Because it's buggy as hell. That's what I get from reading the reviews. That seems to be the one big takeaway. And it's like, when I say Bethesda, it's very comparable, right? Like, it's buggy to the extent of, like, entire, like, conversations glitching out. It's really bad. At least from, again, what I've read. And, of course, that's right, because, like, a lot of people, like, Fallout 4, really fucking buggy, but a lot of people were able to forgive it, right? And a lot of people were like, oh, they still rate GameSpot. Gave Fallout 4 a 9 out of 10, even though it was in a very broken, buggy state. And now they're giving Cyberpunk a 7 out of 10 for similar reasons. That, right? That it's in a very buggy, broken state, and it shouldn't be. Right? That they basically launched this game too early. And I don't know, that's complicated. That really is complicated about how do we... Actually, I'll come back for this. How do we rate games based on, like, how buggy they are? Can we hope that a game will be patched in the future? We know certain games won't be. 86. Okay, that's not a bad start. We know from games like Skyrim, some games never get patched. Skyrim, in the original 2011? I think 2011 release of Skyrim, there were bugs in that game that still existed in the 2017 release of Skyrim on the Switch. Right, there are just some bugs never get patched out. I mean, we hope that Cyberpunk will be patched, but there's no guarantee it will be. And this is also just for the PC version. Now, normally, the PC version of games tend to run worse than console versions, because console versions are right, one of the benefits of consoles is that they're supposed to run at, like, a guaranteed quality, more or less, that PC just cannot offer. I mean, I know some people will claim that, oh no, that's actually not a problem on PC, but those are the people who buy $3,000 PCs compared to a $300 Xbox Series S, right? It's apples and oranges, I guess. So, I don't know. Personally, I think it's fucking stupid. I don't know. I haven't played Cyberpunk. I'm not planning on playing Cyberpunk. Yes, I do have an Xbox and a PS4 that can both play it. Not a PC, sadly. But I don't know. Because of how shitty the Cyberpunk developers are, I just haven't... Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm super interested in the game. But, you know, you gotta take moral stands every now and then. There's a reason I didn't buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There's a reason I didn't buy Immortals Phoenix Rising. two games I was genuinely interested in. Now, sometimes you got... I know. Taking a moral stance isn't fun. But sometimes you gotta do it. Fuck. I guess that leads us to Nintendo. Fucking piece of shit. Eating paste behind the locker... Eating paste in the locker room. Getting high off of scented markers, Nintendo. I've kind of been trying to avoid this. I've been kind of trying to avoid Nintendo drama recently. Like, there was some drama in the Animal Crossing community that I just didn't want to fucking weigh in on, like, at all, and I'm still not going to. Just know there was some drama. Some people took it too fucking far on both extremes, because, of course, people are just fucking horrible people. Because, of course, anything that teaches love has a fan base full of hatred. That goes for anything from Animal Crossing to Jesus. But yeah, so Nintendo's got them... So Nintendo, this entire year, has been in what we call a PR disaster. Well, it started as a PR disaster, and then it turned into a PR shitstorm as they keep stacking up, and Nintendo has just been doing a terrible, and I mean a fucking terrible job of handling it. And it just keeps getting worse. And this isn't all just, right, like the obvious things are the whole Nintendo Direct thing and what's going on there. And that's not what I'm talking about here. And you could argue if that's a PR problem or not. I mean, it technically kind of is. It's just more of like a fan-created PR problem. As the ones we're talking about right now are PR problems Nintendo fucking created for themselves because they're shitty-ass companies. So this all goes back a while, where because of course Smash Bros doesn't have any tournament because of COVID. All tournaments have been canceled, and at most, like, tournaments shifted online. Smash Bros wasn't one of them because Smash Bros has such shitty online infrastructure that it just couldn't support an online tournament. So Nintendo just chose to outright cancel all of them. But a few fans got together and and wanted to do a Melee tournament. And so they were going to use but of course you can't do that in person, so they were using an emulated version of Melee that allowed them to do Melee online. Nintendo sent out a cease and desist letter and got that tournament shut down. This started the whole controversy of free Melee. Now, I do not like Melee. I think Melee is a bad game. I do not think it's fun. I do not think it's entertaining. And I'm still kind of on the side of the free Melee people. Right? Because emulation of games is complicated. It exists in this legal gray zone. But whenever emulation happens, Nintendo's always the first to shoot first, ask questions later. Even to the point of they have in the past broken the law to shut down emulation and whatnot. Nintendo has done things that are illegal in order to break emulation. So that creates a moral gray zone question of like, hey, if Nintendo's willing to break the law, are we able to break the law as well, right? And that's up for you to decide. I have my personal stance on it. You do whatever you want, right? Right? I can't tell you how to live your life. But, so they shut down this thing, and so a bunch of people were like, free Melee, including people in an upcoming Splatoon tournament. So Nintendo also shut down that Splatoon tournament because people were doing free Melee in that Splatoon tournament. That got people pissed off even more. And I know there was like because this brings another question, is that Nintendo doesn't care about esports. Like in the Switch's reveal, there's this like big stadium of people playing Splatoon and whatnot, and like, hey, we're new Nintendo. We care about esports now. And well, yes, Nintendo at the start of the Switch's lifespan, everything looked more hopeful to Nintendo, right? Everything looked like hope was returning, especially after the fucking shit show that was the Wii U. And just because the Wii U was also a PR nightmare, but a similar yet also slightly different kind. Because Nintendo just kept fucking up, but it looked like in the Switch things were getting better. Things weren't getting better. And so that leaves us here. So yeah, and I guess but Nintendo doesn't care about esports. This esports Splatoon tournament, the prize was like, was it like $2,000 or something like that? They did a fan, so right, because Nintendo canceled the Splatoon tournament, the fans decided to set one up. And it has like a 20, maybe even 200,000 prize pool. I don't know all the details of it, but yeah, it's been very, and even besides like the free Melee thing, it's very clear that for Nintendo, right, doing that in the Switch's announcement, pretending to care about esports. Come on, where am I? They clearly don't. Nintendo doesn't give a shit about esports. Right, they don't get Twitch, and this is a complicated thing in and of itself, because, right, I bet Nintendo of America does. Nintendo of America gets that things like YouTube, Twitch, and esports are a big deal, right? Like Smash Bros isn't a fighting game; it's a party game, but it's a party game with an esports scene. But Nintendo of America gets that. Nintendo of Japan doesn't. And Nintendo of Japan has such a tight stranglehold on Nintendo of America that Nintendo of America basically can't make their own decisions and are at the whim of Nintendo of Japan. At least that's how the rumors were about how these things work. But admittedly, that was like, that's been like 5 years since I last heard that. And the fact that Nintendo's been getting better recently makes me assume that things have changed. But I have no proof that things have changed. So maybe they haven't changed, right? That's totally possible. But yeah, so Nintendo doesn't give a shit about esports. But they also sent out another cease and desist. This came out, I don't know, people started talking about this last night. But, so, right, Etika tragically passed away. And so someone's made custom Etika Joy-Con Boys Joy-Cons and were selling them in, like, to promote charity, right? They weren't making any money off of it. It was all going to charity. And they were, like, selling them to, right, for a good cause. And it's Etika. It's the Joy-Con Boys, right? And it was all going to suicide prevention. And Nintendo sent them a cease and desist letter, right, to stop doing it. And again, creating these custom Joy-Cons does exist within this sort of legal gray zone. But even still, this is kind of fucked up. Honestly, Nintendo, like I compared it earlier, Nintendo takes a shoot first, ask questions later to these things. They shotgun around cease and desist letters. They basically have a baseball bat with cease and desist letters taped to the end of it, and they just whap things over the head with it. And this is including, like, all the fan games and whatnot, right? Someone made that fan game of Mario Battle Royale that Nintendo immediately copyright striked just to release their own Mario Battle Royale. Were they in the right to do that? Legally, yes. But then the Mario Battle Royale they made was far inferior to that one, even though that one was a lot simpler. It's fucking complicated. These are legal gray zones for you. Okay, admittedly the Mario fan game was far less of a legal gray zone, but still. But no, Nintendo just keeps fucking up. And and because of course they've taken a very laissez-faire approach to PR this year, they haven't really said anything about any of this. And yeah, they just keep fucking up. And Nintendo just is terrible at making business decisions. And a lot of people are waking up and realizing that, yeah, no, Nintendo's pretty fucking shitty. I mean, they still make the best games in the industry, in my opinion. But that doesn't excuse them from being a shitty company. And just because they make good games, people are willing... Right, like, this goes for any studio. Cyberpunk, filled with crunch. A lot of people are going to forgive the Cyberpunk CD Projekt Red just because Cyberpunk's a good game that they wanted to play. Same's true there. The exact same thing is true there. That's just how it works. Because of fucking course it is. Because having a moral stance is difficult. It's not fun. But sometimes you gotta do it. But, of course, there's me, right? I haven't bought an EA game since... Actually, when was the last time I bought an EA game? Let me look. I'm gonna look this up. I know the exact date. The last time I bought an EA game was 2016. So it's been 4 years. The last time I bought a Ubisoft game... I guess Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle? Because I haven't bought any of the recent Assassin's Creeds. I haven't bought a Far Cry game. I haven't bought a Ubisoft game in years. Hey, Microwave Official, how you doing? Yeah, and I'm not gonna buy Cyberpunk 2077. But yet, even though Nintendo keeps making all these shitty decisions, I keep buying Nintendo games. So, I don't know. I guess I'm just more because, yes, at the end of the day... good, how about you? I'm just busy with finals. I'm super busy with finals. It's like Apple. Yeah. But yeah, Nintendo... Because at the end of the day, yes, is what Nintendo's doing here not as bad as Ubisoft covering up for sexual abuse, CD Projekt Red crunching their employees to death? Yes, what Nintendo's doing isn't nearly as bad as those two things, but it's still bad. And you really it's in bad taste to compare oppression, right? Like, there's this whole idea about, like, oh, well, women say they're oppressed, but, oh, black people are oppressed as well. Oh, let's compare oppression. You shouldn't compare oppression. That never ends well. And I'm going to apply the same thing here. Yes, Nintendo, Ubisoft, and CD Projekt Red are all doing shitty things. But we shouldn't be comparing them. They should all be taken for what they are. Because they're all doing shitty things. Of course you can find worse. And even all those companies I can just name, they aren't even a tenth as bad as Amazon or Apple or what? What? Hello? What? I'm so confused. But yeah, it's so... Nintendo's just... Yeah, they keep doing shitty things. But it's not nearly as bad. I've seen far worse companies do far worse things. So I don't know. It's complicated. I don't know. I still like Nintendo. Yes, they keep doing shitty things and they keep making shitty business decisions. And they need to be held responsible for that. But I still like their games. And I don't know. I guess none of what they've done is a deal breaker. For me, like, what Ubisoft's doing, yeah, totally. What Cyberpunk's doing, yeah, totally. What EA does, yes. But what Nintendo's doing, no, that can be fixed. And yes, I'll still play Animal Crossing. I'll still play, what is it? What else have I been playing? I'll probably play Hyrule Warrior soon. The Age of Calamity. I'll still play those games. But I can enjoy Nintendo's games and also criticize them as a company. I don't know, Jim Sterling put out a video today about, right, Jim Sterling's been doing great stuff this past few weeks, and, he put out a thing about, how, like, oh, people will say that, oh, yeah, you shouldn't, people will say, like, oh, you'll criticize these games, but at the end of the day, people will still buy them. And there's that famous Modern Warfare 2 boycott that, like, all these people signed up to being like, oh, we're boycotting Mass Effect 2. And then when push came to, not Mass Effect, Modern Warfare 2. And then when push came to shove, everybody just bought Modern Warfare 2. And that's not, like, I'm not telling people to, like, boycott Activision Blizzard, boycott EA, boycott Ubisoft. I personally am not buying any of their games, but I'm not saying you can do whatever you want. If you don't want to play any of those games, yeah, right, if you want to, if you don't want to, then yeah. But if you want to, go ahead. It's fucking complicated. It's complicated and stupid and whatnot. Because, of course, I wish it wasn't complicated. I think we all do, but it is. And we can't, and it's, I don't want to use the word ignorant, but it's dumb to ignore it. Alright, I'm going to go put some money in the bank. So that was 30 minutes of ranting. I expected to do it today. Oh, we should also go check here, actually. That was 30 minutes of ranting. Ugh, God, my throat hurts. And then I guess it's time to talk about the Game Awards now. Because, of course, there's the game advertisements. Whatever you want to call them. That's a cute coat. That's also pretty nice. Are these satin pants any good? Yeah, they're fine. God. What started your ranting? Oh God, the rant started with Cyberpunk. Just it started simply enough with me like being like, "Hey, reviews for Cyberpunk came out today," and that was it. And then now it's been 30 minutes. And I'm not even going to talk about the Animal Crossing controversy. I am not qualified enough to talk, like, I can talk about Nintendo and CD Projekt Red, Ubisoft, Activision, EA. I can talk about their bullshit all day. I am not qualified enough to talk about a woman's hair. I don't have nope, I'm not qualified enough to do that. I don't have the experience. So I'm not gonna deal with that one. Just people were shitty all around. Let's deposit 100. Do I have any water anywheres? Ooh, should I... Ooh, I wonder how the Christmas dress would show up on the green screen. Ooh, that's a question. I mean, I guess there's only one way to find out. Maybe we should change it to a different color. Because I bought all the Christmas dresses. I mean, I know I have other colors. Let's see. We've got... Do I do a pink, a blue, or a gold? Ooh, I'm thinking blue. I think blue is a nice, softer color. Yeah, let's see how blue shows up on the green screen. Ooh, is that, Huh. Huh, that's not showing up. Give me a second, let me... Ooh, maybe I... Oh god, everything's breaking. Give me a second. Oops, cancel. Paw. Okay, I get... Let's move the desk back to the middle. I'm a little off-center. Stonks. Alright, let's talk about... Shall we talk about the Game Awards? Yay! The Game Awards 2020, shall we? This'll be fun. All these games... the Game Awards is, what, Thursday? And I've got my predictions, of course. It's a bunch of stupid shit, because of course it is. So let's look over the Game Awards and see... Let me give my... So we've gone over the list once before, but I'm going to come down here, give my predictions, give my justifications for those predictions. How do I get the chat? I want to not make sure not to get rid of the chat. So we're going to be looking at them. I'm skipping over... Right, I don't know any of these teams. Right, for as much as I say Nintendo doesn't give a shit about esports... I also don't care about esports. That's just a personal thing, though. Like, I just don't care about esports. Ah, God. But I'm going to do, we're going to start out with best esports game, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Fortnite, League, or Valorant. I think Call of Duty won last year. I have no idea. I legitimately... Normally, I always say always bet on League. But I think just because Valorant's new, I'm going to say Valorant. But only because it's new, even though I really haven't heard that many people talking about it. And of course, I'm writing everything down. Oh god, it's gonna keep doing that. I'm writing everything down. And so, and then on the night of the Game Awards, we'll come back and we'll look at how good I did, how many did I get right, how many did I get wrong. You can't see it, but I've got a spreadsheet where I'm writing all this down. Another esports thing I don't care about. Another esports thing, another esports thing. Best debut game. Oops. I mean, I've technically heard of all of these. Admittedly. Have I heard of Mortal Shell? I don't know. The only one I've played is Carrion. The only one of these I've played is Carrion. And Carrion was good, but it wasn't great. Raja and Ancient Epic looked interesting, but I haven't played it, you know? So, yeah. That's a lot of this list is games I haven't played, but I'm still going to make predictions on. Phasmophobia is a game I've seen a bunch about, but I don't get Phasmophobia. I know people like it. I don't get it personally. I just don't understand the appeal of Phasmophobia. Like, I know people love the hell out of it. I just don't get it. I just don't get Phasmophobia. Like, at all. But I think it's going to win. Because it was big this year. Content Creator of the Year. I'm rooting for Alana Pierce. Of all these people, the only ones I've heard of are Alana Pierce and Tim the Tatman. I don't know who any of these other people are. So it's between those two. Personally, I'm probably rooting for Alana. Right? Like, that's probably, if I had to guess, that's where I'd put my money. But I don't honestly know if Alana's gonna win it. I'm gonna go for Alana. But I'm not going to be surprised if Tim the Tatman wins it. Because he blew up this year. I'm putting my money in for Alana. Best multiplayer game. This is the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. I cannot believe it. Don't get me wrong. Yes, Animal Crossing is a multiplayer game. Yes, you can play it with your friends. It's a fucking joke, though, when it comes to multiplayer. It's terrible now. It's between Among Us and Fall Guys for me. Personally, I think Among Us is, like, fascinating. And Among Us exists in this, like, weird space of, like, technically the game's 2 years old, but everyone's talking about it this year. Everyone's playing it this year. So, it's either, and I know people like to say Fall Guys is dead game. It's not. Fall Guys is doing perfectly A-okay. Right? Tons of people are still playing Fall Guys. Tons of people love Fall Guys, right? So it's between those two. But if I'm going to have to guess, I'm probably going to say Among Us. And we'll get to best multiplayer game or best mobile game later on, but I'm also going to guess it's going to win that. Best sports / racing. This category is a fucking joke. Honestly, like, nobody cares. Who cares? So I'm going to say Tony Hawk just because that's the one interesting thing in here. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. I don't know. That's like the one interesting thing in here. I don't know why it's not letting me pick that. Whatever. Best simulation / strategy game. I know Chimera Squad was flawed. Nobody talked about Gears. I mean, I know people did talk about Gears Tactics. I know people liked Crusaders Kings 3, but I'm gonna personally go with Flight Sim. Is it just not letting me pick anymore. Did it? Yeah. Huh, that's so weird. That's so weird. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go Microsoft Flight Sim. I liked Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, I'd totally be interested in playing it. But I just don't have anything that can run it. Best Family. I know there's a lot of stuff on here, but this is Animal Crossing's to take. Is there any question about Best Family is basically just Nintendo's category. I don't know if Nintendo's ever not won it. And yeah, sure, there's some other good games on here. Yeah, don't get me wrong, right? Crash is good from what I heard. I enjoy the hell out of Fall Guys. Never played Minecraft Dungeon. I liked Paper Mario, but this is going to go to Animal Crossing. Like, what else? This is the joke category. Like, Mortal Kombat 11. That game's how many years old now? Street Fighter 5. That game's how many years old now? One Punch Man. That game wasn't even any good. So I don't know anything about Grand Blue, and I don't know anything about Under Night. I did hear people saying that one of these two games is good, either Under Night or Grand Blue. One of those is good. But I don't know. My guess is it's probably going to go to Mortal Kombat. But it's a best. Why even? You know, there's this thing in the Oscars where theoretically they can just not give out an award if they feel like none of the nominees are like applicable, right? I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically the idea that like, oh, if they feel like no movie is like exemplary of that category, they just won't give it to anybody. And that's what I feel like they should do with Best Fighting Game here. These are all fucking jokes, honestly. I mean, maybe Grand Blue or Under Night's good, but I wouldn't know. Best role-playing game, as always, Xenoblade got fucking snubbed. Oh, God. You know, that's just going to be a tradition from here on out. That because I guarantee you they're working on a remake of Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I can guarantee you that's going to be snubbed. I can also guarantee that. But Xenoblade Chronicles, which is better than all of these. Xenoblade Chronicles, I mean, Persona 5R is probably the closest you get. And yes, maybe the original Final Fantasy VII, but this is the Final Fantasy VII remake. So we're talking about like apples and oranges here. Completely different story. But yeah, no, Xenoblade got fucking robbed here. Especially because Persona 5R made it, and Xenoblade didn't. I don't know. If for Wastelands, it's going to go to Final Fantasy VII, obviously, because that's the one nominated for Game of the Year. But yeah, it got fucking snubbed. Best Action Adventure. Ooh, wow, Action Adventure. What a very specific category. Jedi Fallen Order, a game that got snubbed last year. I don't know. It was good. I don't know. Miles Morales, I'm surprised to be on here. It's gonna go to Ghost. Like looking at, it's either gonna go to Ghost or The Last of Us. I don't know. Action Adventure is such a dumb category, but I'd give it to Ghost. Personally. I don't know. Ghost seems the most interesting out of all of these. Oops. I hit the controller. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Honestly, there's a lot of potential for The Last of Us to just sweep everything this year. Either way, Sony's taking away a bunch. Best action game. Oh boy, is this one a little harder. It's between these three, honestly. Hades, Doom Eternal, and Half-Life Alyx. Personally, I'm biased towards Hades, but that's because it's the one game I played. But I could see it being Doom Eternal as well. Because Doom Eternal, like, it's action genre focused primarily on combat. That's entirely what Doom Eternal was. I could see it taking that. Personally, I'd go for Hades. But for the purposes of trying to guess the Game Awards, I'm going to go for Doom Eternal. Innovation and accessibility is going to be The Last of Us. This is a new category this year. And while, yeah, some of these things do things, like I know Grounded has like an interesting like spider mode. The Last of Us Part 2 went crazy with its accessibility. And it honestly should be standard in the industry. It, like, there's so many things in that game where it's like, holy shit, every game needs to do this. Nintendo needs to get better at accessibility. For as much as they are the family console, they're terrible when it comes to accessibility. But it's going to The Last of Us. VR, AR is Half-Life Alyx. I don't even know why there's a question about that. I know it didn't get... It was... Everyone was like, hey, it's revolutionary in VR. Like, it's the big revolutionary VR title. It didn't get nominated for Game of the Year, but, like, that's because it's a VR game. I think Half-Life Alyx... Half-Life Alyx totally has that. I no longer have nodding. What you gonna do? Next up, best community support. So the hard part with this one is that while yes, most of these games did support their community, right, and the people who play the game, at the same time, I feel like I know. So the thing about, right, well, most of these are about, like, you know, even Fall Guys falls into this. But what I liked about Fall Guys above all else is their Twitter. The guy, Oliver, is that his name? The guy who runs Fall Guys' Twitter, right, it was really big. When the game came out, it was really big and really funny. Of course, nowadays, they've gotten to the habit of just using the same, because they did Big Yeetus, and Big Yeetus was really funny, but now they've fallen into the trap of just doing the same Big Yeetus joke over and over again. And yes, they raised $1 million for charity, and I'll always give them credit for that. But they've just... I don't know, it's kind of fallen off, and I don't agree with the Fall Guys is a dead game, but I definitely care more about it than I do Destiny 2, or maybe Fortnite could be on here, but other than that, I don't know. Mobile game, I've already... Yes, they're... Like, Call of Duty Mobile, who cares? Pokemon Cafe, ugh. I know Genshin's probably the only other one here. But I haven't played Genshin, so I wouldn't know. But I'm going with Among Us as well. I would not be surprised if they say, hey, guess what? Among Us wins best mobile game. And then when they bring Among Us out, they also say, hey, guess what? They also won best multiplayer game. I've seen that happen in the past before, where they've given off 2 awards at the same time. I've seen it same thing with like best indie game. I've seen them do that as well. Best indie game is Hades. The fact that Hades is nominated for Game of the Year, no questions. No questions it's going to be Hades. And don't get me wrong, some of these other games are good, but Hades is fucking phenomenal. Best ongoing... Fuck. I put it between Fortnite and COD. And I'm... Fortnite did an entire Marvel crossover this year, so I'm gonna go with Fortnite, but I don't know. Games for Impact, I've heard of these 3. The only one I've actually touched is Spiritfarer, and God, it's good, but I don't know. But I've also heard amazing things about Kentucky Route Zero. So I'd want Spiritfarer, but I'm going to guess it's going to go to Kentucky Route Zero, because I've heard amazing things about that one. And with the Game Awards sale happening, I might just pick it up, because usually all these things go on sale around time. Best performance... It's probably going to be between The Last of Us. I just don't know if it's Ashley Johnson or Laura Bailey. I'm going to guess Laura. Even though I have not played The Last of Us, I'm actually going to go for Laura Bailey. I just have this sneaking suspicion. Best audio design. You know, I've heard good things about all of these, except for I don't know anything about Resident Evil 3. But I think it's probably going to go to The Last of Us. Again, just another guess, but I think The Last of Us is going to get a lot of awards this year. Best score in music. Different category, and it's right. I could see it going to any of Doom, Hades. I haven't played Ori, so I wouldn't know. But I'm gonna go with Hades. It's Supergiant, and Hades has fantastic music. It's Supergiant Games. They know how to do music. I'm going with them. Art direction. Fuck. I could see any of these, honestly. Like, I want to say Ori is the underdog here. Because a lot of people are mad Ori didn't get nominated for, like, any of the major awards, right? Like, Game of the Year. But I know Ori is a good game. I like Hades' art direction, but I don't know if it's as strong as... I don't know, and I say it time and time again, realistic graphics aren't everything. But I also know that because of... now that people have the Xbox Series X in hand, they've been able to like see Ori more and like see it in like 60 fp or 128 frames per second, super HD, 6K, whatever the hell. And I hear Ori looks beautiful, but I don't know if that's taken into account on this. If it's not that, then I'd go for probably Ghost. I don't know, The Last of Us was also good. Fuck. Which one? Again, I keep saying The Last of Us is going to sweep. At least a lot of stuff. I don't think it's... We'll get to that. Oh, boy. Oh, God. This is a hard one. Art direction. The thing I'm leaning... Even though I don't know... Technical achievement. That's going to go to The Last of Us, because of course it is. Of course, was it worth the sanity of the employees who worked on the game to accurately depict, like, murder and whatnot? No. But, fuck. Best narrative... I've never even heard of 13 Sentinels. Again, I want to give it to Hades. I'm going to give it to Hades, if only because of the innovative things Hades did with telling a narrative. Right? That something like Hades has really never... It's new. And that's more interesting than Neil Druckmann's grim, dark, grim fest. That's just a piece of shit. And I haven't played Ghost. And Final Fantasy VII Remake is like a third of a story. So, yeah. Best game direction... Again, it could go to fucking any of this. It really could. Ooh. Personally, I'm gonna guess it's gonna go to The Last of Us. I know, right, in like the Oscars and whatnot, right, director and Game of the Year go hand in hand. Or director and, whatever, best movie go hand in hand. But I think The Last of Us is going to take this one, and it's not going to take the final one. Because that leads us up to Game of the Year. And there are all of these games, except for maybe Final Fantasy VII, I think have a chance. Legitimately, it's a stacked year. But if I had to guess, it's going to go down to these four. I see Ghost of Tsushima's argument. I see The Last... Yes, I know there's an entire sect of the fan base that hated The Last of Us. But there's an entire sect that didn't. And it was very popular with critics. Animal Crossing. Super popular. Animal Crossing was here when we needed it the most. It kind of set the mood of the pandemic. Hades. An astounding roguelike taking new ways at looking at narratives and It's just a genuinely great fucking game. And Ghost of Tsushima is right. It's open world, but it's got all we're in the post Breath of the Wild world, so we see influences there, and it's just a good game. I don't know. I have not the only one I've only played 2 of these. And then I'm just discounting Final Fantasy VII Remake just because compared to some of this other stuff, now. And it's a remake of Final Fantasy VII. It's not even the actual Final Fantasy VII. Doom Eternal, good game, right? Really good game, but I don't think it holds a candle to these other ones. At least based on what I've read and seen. Honestly, because if we look over here at Player's Choice, I think I don't. When I personally when the Game Awards were announced a few weeks ago, I personally said Ghost was gonna take it, and yes, I voted for Hades for Player's Choice. But if we look, Ghost of Tsushima is now winning. Right? Like I've seen this. This was originally going for The Last of Us, and since then it's flipped towards Ghost of Tsushima. Going back to the nominees here, I could see Ghost of Tsushima winning, if only because one, there's all this anti-Last of Us sentiment, so that's going to kill that one. Then it really goes down to these two, which, well, not similar, right? Like, Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal have more in common than Animal Crossing and Hades, which is fucking weird to say, but hey, that's how these things work sometimes. Because see, Animal Crossing, for as big of a game as it is, it's going to be the highest selling game on Switch. It was here during the pandemic. Culturally, it's the biggest thing, right? Culturally, Animal Crossing has the biggest impact. But this isn't all about... Culture is just an aspect of this. Hades is good. It's really fucking good. It might be... It's one of the best games I've played this year. It's fucking fantastic. But it's still an indie game at the end of the day. And I don't know if indie game... Yes, I rooted for Celeste in 2018. It didn't win, but I still rooted for it. But then there's also last year. Sekiro won last year. And nobody expected... At least nobody I knew expected Sekiro to win. So these aren't out of the running either, because that could totally happen again. Personally, I think it's going to be Ghost. I'm still going to go for Ghost of Tsushima. I'd rather have Hades or of course, our baby blue Animal Crossing win it. I wonder why I can't vote in these things anymore. And let me do some of the early ones. Now, if I... that's so weird. Maybe it's like because we're too close to the show, voting's already closed on some of these. Maybe that's why. Personally, I want Animal Crossing to take it, obviously. Because, again, we are in Animal Crossing right now. But I don't think Animal Crossing is going to take it, obviously. I think it's going to go down to Hades and Ghost of Tsushima. And I think Ghost of Tsushima is probably going to pull it. Just because that's, of course, how these things work. I think Hades is the better game, most certainly. And I hope critics realize that. But I don't think Hades is going to win it. Alright. That's just my guess, anyways. I don't know. I could be completely off about all of this. But that's... If I had to take a guess... That's going to be my guess. Where did I throw the stream chat? It's over here. Game Awards are on Thursday the 10th. And I still don't know, are we streaming the Game Awards? Am I not streaming the Game Awards? I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully not, because I'd rather not personally, because it's the fucking Game Awards, and those are a goddamn nightmare. But yeah. So I put everything into a spreadsheet, Right. That's all my votes. I don't know what's gonna win. But yeah, we'll keep track of it. And of course, there's all that esports stuff I don't give a shit about. But yeah, those are all my predictions succinctly summed up. God, I don't know. There's still some I'm not happy with some of these. Like, I don't know how many of The Last of Us is gonna win. Fuck. I don't know. The Last of Us can completely sweep this, honestly. It could completely take everything. I know Last of still because The Last of Us is what the second most nominated game in the Game Awards history, right behind only Breath of the Wild. And I know people are like, "Oh, the Game Awards has a Sony bias," but that's easily disproven. I mean, Sekiro won last year. Yes, God of War won in 2018, but Breath of the Wild won the year before that and utterly trounced the Horizon Zero Dawn. Right? So I don't know. It's complicated. We are in a complicated position here. But yeah, that's the Game Awards. We'll watch them one way or another, and we will talk about them. The game announcements, right? The game advertisements. Ugh. Whatever. Actually, let's go out and look real quick. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about that, I guess. I don't know. I've been meaning to do... God, the sun's setting. We've been out there for so long. I've been meaning to give my predictions, right? And it's coming up sooner or later. Hey, Whitney. Sure you couldn't help it. Okay. Oh god, my voice is absolutely shot. Oh, I guess Scott Pilgrim got delayed. The new, the Scott Pilgrim game, what's it called? I guess it got delayed until January. Or at least that's what it looks like. Yeah, game comes out January 12th now. Working on getting a physical release, but it may happen... if it'll happen after digital. Because I swear it was coming out in December, so yeah. I say I'm not buying a Ubisoft game. I haven't since, Kingdom Battle. I don't know. I might buy that Scott Pilgrim game, because I never got to play it. And because I didn't get into Scott Pilgrim until after the game came out. So I'm genuinely... Oh, God damn it, Miranda. I don't care about any of your shit, Miranda. Oh, wow, thanks. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be picking that up. I do not know if I'll be picking up Scott Pilgrim. I kind of want to, but I might not. It's so fucking complicated. Oh, Starbound's on Game Pass PC. That's a game right, like we were talking about Terraria the other day. I've always wanted to play Starbound. It always seemed interesting, because that was a Terraria-like. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, and then... So we've talked about a lot today. Cyberpunk was destined to disappoint people. There was not the hype, right? Like No Man's Sky. Admittedly, this isn't as bad. This isn't the No Man's Sky situation, and No Man's Sky has become a much better game. But Cyberpunk was always destined to disappoint some people. People were always going to get angry about Cyberpunk reviews. That was inevitable. We talked about Nintendo being shitty business practitioners who make amazing games, but they're still shitty people, or they still make shitty decisions. Now they're good, and behind all of these studios, right? I shit on Ubisoft, I shit on EA, I shit on CD Projekt Red, I shit on Nintendo. It's the corporations that are the problem. The people, like the people who make the games, the people who put their blood, sweat, and tears and destroyed their lives to make Cyberpunk, they're good people. It's just the corporations that are shitty. That's what I'm getting at. It's the corporations that have the fucking problems. But yeah, and then Game Awards. I'd be amazed if I even got. I probably got 2 right in this of all those predictions. I'm gonna guess I got Among Us, the 2 Among Us and Among Us. That's it. Those are probably the only 2 I got right if I had to guess. We'll see the hard way. We'll learn the hard way. But yeah, that's where we're gonna end off. I did what I wanted to today. Now it's back to work for university. 3 days including today. I'll be done by Wednesday at midnight. Oh god, when am I gonna stream on Wednesday? I have no fucking idea. Oh god, I have 3 papers due on Wednesday by midnight. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh no, that's gonna be a problem. Oh god, I watered I did water flowers. Yeah, we're good. My throat's gone. Oh gosh, but yeah. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.